Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of the Late Winner Show. Uh, great, I think weekday, I guess. What an exciting round of matches. Obviously, we all know Liverpool, Bayern, Real Madrid, and Man City went through to the quarterfinals of the Champions League. But I guess there were three standout games. I guess one was Liverpool, and then Bayern Munich's just the sheer brilliance that Bayern Munich has, obviously, and we saw a 23-minute hat trick from Mr. Champions League. No, we shouldn't call him Mr. Champions League yet, but yeah, Mr. Lewandowski. Bayern Munich definitely showed that they are again they are back, and like what a huge difference one player makes, right? Like I think for about a month, like Neuer wasn't available to them, and he came, and then it's all back to normal, all back to business, right? And what a game between Madrid and PSG. I think a lot of and we'll talk in detail, but I think a lot of people would have actually eliminated Real Madrid at the half. I wasn't one of them. I still texted one of my friends. I was like, there is no way Madrid is losing this. They're still going to come back and take this in extra time. I never thought that this was going to happen. Like they're just going to do it in the normal 90. I was expecting like an extra time win, but yeah, I mean, I was ecstatic when I saw that the Hala Madrids were leading the game. But yeah, we're going to discuss the entire Champions League round of fixtures. But for that, let me introduce our guest first as well, Uday, from the Loudmore Show. How are you doing, man? Like how excited are you with the Champions League back and the fixtures that happened?
Well, to be honest, my predictions went a little here and there, but still, I think pretty content with how Liverpool have crossed the quarterfinals. PSG have been ousted out. Again, City had to go through, and we predicted that. So yeah, that
Mhm.
happened. And Bayern Munich, of course, they had to win that game. They're one of the stellar teams in the competition. So yeah, I think the best teams in the competition have progressed to the quarterfinals. So I'm ready to take a go at it.
Yeah. But before we do get into the details of it, please make sure that like, share, and subscribe to the Late Winner Show. As I said, day before, we're 9 away from 300. So keep hitting that subscribe button, man. Like it's not happening for last 2 days. So come on, like hit that subscribe button, get us to 300, and from there we'll do the road to 400 then. But yeah, keep hitting that subscribe button. Let's do some likes as well on the video if you're liking what Late Winner Show is doing. Give us a follow Instagram and Twitter as well, putting out loads of contents and stories related to the matchups that are happening almost every day. But yeah, let's start with the biggest match, man. I think great game overall. I think overall we all expected that game in the first half, first leg itself, but it didn't happen. It didn't deliver according to what we expected. But what a thrilling game. I think in the first half again, PSG were dominant. They were showing Mbappe was making those runs. Mbappe could have easily had two goals before Madrid actually made a comeback. But I think it was all like set up by Madrid in some ways. Like, okay, we're gonna give you the lead. We're gonna let you Mbappe score, get that glory, and then we'll show you why you need to come to Madrid, because this is why you need to come to Madrid this summer. And exactly that's what happened. I think Donnarumma, Marquinhos had one of the worst games. In Champions League. I think this season we never expected that PSG would have any sort of game like this. But I think yeah, since the signings have been made, there has been no gelling. We were always talking about it that February month, that's when Champions League actually starts. We all know PSG is going to go through, but that's when the actual competition starts, and they're going to start clicking. Messi, Neymar, Di Maria, and Mbappe. Everyone will have that gelling and will click, and PSG will win the Champions League. Well, they're not. They are out of the competition in round of 16 again. And I was looking at their last decade's results. I think the last 10 out of the last 10, I think they've already been eliminated in the round of 16 5 times, which is a lot.
Wow.
Like given the number of players and given the high profile signings that they make.
Yeah.
But yeah, about the game, I think Madrid definitely, and after they get the goal back, at least score the game, not in terms of aggregate, but score at least level the match. They were outstanding. The
Yeah.
pressing, they fully dominated PSG throughout, and for some reason PSG just fell apart. A great assist by Marquinhos to Benzema so that he could just finish it up. And what PSG were doing, I have no idea, man. I literally just saw that it went to all in aggregate, and literally within the next 30 seconds it was 3-1. I have no idea how fast that could happen from a kickoff. So the way Madrid won the ball back, and then how they actually just attacked and got that goal back. So I'm really happy that Madrid went through, and I was hoping that, and I was anyways hoping for that. But in the manner that they went, I think it was a great performance overall by Madrid. But yeah, over to you.
Right. I think I'll start with the first half itself. I think PSG were playing amazing football. I was actually not expecting this from them because they were playing at Santiago Bernabeu. But looking at how Messi and Verratti were using their one-touch football to give key passes inside, it was amazing. Messi had provided many good balls from even from a deeper position. Initially in the first half, I saw they were also doing dirty or behind. I know Real Madrid press in the first 7 minutes. They were very attacking. They were trying to get onto the PSG defense, and they were a little successful in terms of getting two, three shots here and there. Two shots from Asensio, one from Benzema. Um, but I think from the 7th minute mark to the 45th minute mark, we saw PSG dominate the midfield. We saw them attacking as well. Mbappe had one offside goal, and he scored the same in the same fashion, which was again a brilliant goal. I thought Courtois could have maybe saved it because the defender was in a position to cover the far post, but he went for the near post, and Courtois couldn't save it. But anyways, I was expecting PSG to win this. To be honest,
Yep.
it was shocking the way Real Madrid made a comeback, and uh, totally bedazzled, totally shocked, and
You
I was actually
shouldn't be you shouldn't be shocked.
I
Definitely not.
was because I didn't
Man,
expect the same Real
I
Madrid to show up the way they
I
did.
I don't know like how many of our viewers actually watched the game on the weekend. It's exactly what happened on the weekend against Sociedad as well. I think Sociedad took an early lead, and then it was all Madrid. Like and
Yep,
within and I think it was brilliance of two moments where a good Kamavinga goal, a spectacular Modric goal, just changed the game, and obviously Madrid were on top after that. So it took a goal to get Madrid into the game, and that's what's been happening, man. Like
yep,
Madrid have been. I wouldn't say Madrid are very good defensively. They're not. They're okay-ish, but their midfield and their attacking is definitely, man. It's really good. Sometimes it's hard for them to find the back of the net,
yep,
but eventually they just do. It's just that kind of like that mentality that team has, that that we have to do this, we have to win the game, and somehow in the later stages of the game they'll somehow just find the winner. But man, coming to PSG, they signed literally almost every player on the planet that was available last summer,
yep.
and or I should say literally every big player that was available on free transfers, right? Wijnaldum, Hakimi, Donnarumma, Messi, um, and who else? I'm forgetting, maybe one else. Um, but
Didn't didn't sign
Ramos,
anyone else
Ramos,
apart from that.
Ramos,
Of course,
Ramos.
he's not
Yeah,
been playing though. Yeah,
yeah. So this signed, basically they have like superstars in every position possible. They still can't get through. They still can't get through a round of 16 competition with such talent. And it's and I mean, I would blame Pochettino here a little bit, right? I mean, he's gotten what, almost a year and a half with PSG, right? I don't know again like how much power he has in, like how much say he has in these transfers. Maybe he didn't want some players here, but he still hadn't, because PSG was trying to build this. Sorry, PSG was trying to build this, spectacular team full of stars and everyone. So that's why Messi and Mbappe, Neymar, all these big players were there are there in their team. But I think you can safely say that the Messi project has been a failure. There's been nothing to show even in Ligue 1, where people say it's a farmers league, and he should be like, I think Messi will be scoring almost 50 goals in a season or something. If he
yep,
was scoring 50 goals here, he should have scored at least 50 goals over there, at least
yep,
in Ligue 1. But there is basic. I don't think even he's gotten up to double digits for the season.
yep,
I don't think he's gotten double digit for the season. So that's a big failure. Um, Pochettino was supposed to deliver. I think 95% of like us know that Pochettino is going to get sacked at the end of the summer.
That's
I
that's
think it's bound to happen,
That's actually
right?
true in a way. I would agree with you. Maybe he might get sacked, but the point is that I do not blame him at all. I'll tell you why. If you see PSG's performance against Real Madrid over both the legs, they were more dominant. They played better than Real Madrid in terms of the minutes. But I agree, they scored the goals. They had the killer instinct and they won. I don't blame Pochettino because his tactics were on point. It was PSG's defenses and the midfield midline who couldn't stay compact. They could not defend at all. They were left open after Donnarumma's silly Billy. He should have not taken time on the ball. He was holding onto the ball. I don't know what he was trying to do. He got tackled again.
Exactly.
The
Yeah.
owner and the sporting director tried contesting. They tried finding the referee after the game because they were pretty angry with the decision. They wanted a free kick out of that. But again, Vinicius took advantage of the opportunity, passed it back to Benzema, and he converted it. Again, I
And
think
that could
PSG
have, and that also could have been saved. Like, I mean,
could have been saved,
with the
but again, in the
size,
moment, in the
with the
moment, it
size
was
that he is, I think, yeah. I mean, I'm just saying it could have been. I'm not
it
saying
could
it
have been
should have
saved,
been. I'm just saying
but
it could have been.
again, in the moment, it was too quick for them to actually, come back and
Yeah, yeah,
retract
yeah.
and gain their force. But anyways, I think coming back to the point, really what happened after that mistake was PSG could not even get into Madrid's half because Madrid decided to barge onto them. They made two replacements. Kamavinga came on, was holding, who was instated as a holding midfielder.
Yeah.
Modric was given the license to go ahead. He was pressing. Cruz, before when he came on, he was also pressing. So the game plan was that Asensio, before he came off, and even the other guy, Valverde, they were supposed to occupy the half spaces, which they did. And Carval was successful in coming ahead, and he was acting well as an attacking fullback, right? So the pressure was mounting on to PSG. They couldn't handle it. I think, in the end, they gave up. I'll tell you why. Because it came down to their nerves and their mentality. It wasn't up to the mark. And as we've already known that Real Madrid have been winning Champions Leagues season on season, their club has that mentality of getting
History,
into it,
yeah.
and their
Hmm.
DNA reeks of the Champions League. They are supposed to be in the knockout stages, and which is why I think they were deserving of this. And Karim Benzema is a standing legend. Scored a hat trick in 17 minutes. I have nothing else to add to that. But I am pretty upset about Pochettino. I think he's a good manager. He doesn't deserve to be sacked though. I think. और कितनी sackings कर लेंगे भाई? Who else will they want to get? I mean, Tuchel got sacked. Pochettino
I
will get
mean,
sacked.
I'm not saying here. I'm not saying that Pochettino is a bad manager. I'm
Yeah.
just scared now because as a United fan, I know like what's going to happen. I know that it's what's going to happen in the summer now.
Yeah.
So, but I'm not saying that Pochettino is a bad manager. I'm just trying to say that has he proven anything? In Spurs, it was all about getting the young players, getting some getting a fluidity in the game, getting to play like like a Spurs style, right?
Yeah.
He wanted to play a certain style. What he wanted, he got some players in, and he never could get any high profile player into Spurs. Did he
Yeah.
ever? I don't think so. Except Christian Eriksen, I don't think even he got it. Did he bring him? I don't
Uh,
even remember. Did he
Pochettino
bring Christian
brought a
Eriksen in?
couple of players. He got Heung-min Son.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Like he's not a high profile. He was not. He was never a high profile player.
He,
We never
but
knew
he,
anything about him
the thing is,
before he
people
came here.
started respecting him because of what he did for Tottenham, right? He grew players.
Exactly.
Their
Exactly.
tactics were very much attacking. So I think he
Exactly.
should have
So
stuck to Tottenham. They might have won a trophy under him, to be honest. They might have.
exactly. I mean, that's what I'm saying. So like maybe another season would have actually got him. Maybe one season, the season after he got them into the Champions League final. Maybe he would have stayed there, and maybe Daniel Levy would have just just it's hard. What I'm saying, it's very hard. I'm just sitting here and actually talking about like Levy you could have given him another season even if it was going downhill. It wasn't like Tottenham were going to get relegated or anything,
Yeah.
but it's hard. Yeah, like when you're the owner and when you're in that position, it's hard to make those decisions. I respect him that he took that decision and move forward in that. but
True.
but has he proven anything? We keep saying about Pochettino that he's unhappy in Paris. He never wanted to take the job. He was always waiting for that United job, but he took it. And I think the 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 talking point here should be that you're in this footballing world. You should be professional. You have a job to do. Then just be professional about it. You can't be cribbing about a year and a half after that, even that what, I'm not liking this PSG thing, or I'm not liking the city that I'm living in. So I'm just gonna be here for the sake of. and then when I get my dream job, I'm going to just leave. I don't think that's good professionalism. And if that's something, and I'm not going to talk about that thing right now, but if that's something that that other club is looking for, that shouldn't be the mentality that a coach should have. Like when you're applying for a job, or when you're actually be considered for a job. I don't think right now he's proven anything. If even if he wants to go to a new club from here, does he get the job very easily? I don't think so. I mean, I think a lot of the top clubs in Premier League, even if he wants to come back, let's talk about Premier League. But I don't think just gets into the club. I don't think so at the moment, because
Yeah.
a lot of the clubs just now are fighting for that elite, top four, some cup competitions, at least some trophies. He's not won anything in the even in the first season itself. Like, he had a good team. He was
Yeah.
competing against Lille. He couldn't defeat them. He had some bumps, here and there in the league on season, and he couldn't win the league. He had what, 5 months to win the league, because he came into the job in December after Tuchel was sacked. So he
Yeah.
had about 5 months, and when he came in, it was a gap of 4 or 5 points to Lille. He could have easily done that, but
Yeah.
he couldn't apply any of his tactics in the club. You could blame him. You could blame, like, yeah, he didn't have his players or whatnot or all that stuff, and Lille was playing at this spectacular level. I don't think so. They lost the competition by 1 point. So you can't say that, that PSG were, or Lille were playing like really really good, right? PSG dropped points a lot during the league on season. Same
Yeah.
thing has happened obviously here. It was inevitable that, PSG were going to win the league. But man, Champions League was obviously like our saying, when we were kind of like when we were previewing on our respective channels, and we were talking about what PSG's goal going to be. I mean, I said it, that I wasn't expecting anything less than 105 points. I think if less than 100 points, they should lose the league. The way the
True.
current players that they have, right? I was giving them a leverage of only 9 points to be dropped during the league, which has already been passed. So
Yeah.
they've already not they're not I think they don't even go past 100 points, which is bad with the team that they have.
Yeah.
They're not even going to the semi-finals of the competition. They didn't
Yeah.
even go out in a manner where you could say that, PSG actually played well, but that other team was just better on the day, right? and
Yeah.
and that's what football's about. Like, on the day you can be defeated because the other team has just got that, extra oomph or extra spark to win the game. But it was just a collapse after 60 minutes after they scored the goal. But yeah,
Yeah.
what do you think about Pochettino and PSG's
Like,
future? What do you think about that?
look, I know that he has not done anything big in with PSG, but looking at his performance tonight, I don't really think it's his fault. I think the team imploded because of their own performance. Uh, Again, I've always spoken about PSG's midfield. I know they can play really well, but they don't really have that presence. They don't have that mentality. In when they concede a single goal, they start panicking. They start thinking, okay, the opposition is better than us, which is what happened when they started pressing them again. I think if Madrid would have pressed onto them even in the first half, they would have been smashed, I think. But Madrid decided not to, probably thinking that they can launch on counter. But then Madrid knew that they need to mount onto the PSG because they just had 30 minutes left and they still
Yeah, I
didn't
mean, the
score a
game
single
changed.
goal.
Right, right, yeah, exactly.
So I don't think PSG Pochettino is that fall, man. His tactics were working. It's just that the defenses, I don't know what happened over there. Kimpembe and Marquinhos, I don't know what horrific defending were they doing.
Yeah,
That
I that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think it worked. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, I don't think it worked. Like, it worked to a certain extent, but then when Madrid started doing their thing, he didn't have a plan, right?
but
Forget
there
about the
was no
for-
plan
forget
required.
about the forget about the mistakes that PSG players did. Okay,
Wait,
that's a totally different discussion.
but tell me one
But
thing.
did he
What
was he able to counter PSG, Madrid? No, I
But
don't
that
think
wasn't
so.
needed, right? They already had a lead. They had a lead. The point was to defend, and they couldn't even defend. That was the point. That is my point. If Burnley was playing against Real Madrid and just defending, I think Burnley would have actually won the match, given how well they could defend. And that is expected from Kimpembe and Marquinhos. These guys have been playing for PSG for years. We expect them to do this, right? And I don't understand because there were six people behind. Still,
Yeah,
Benzema and Vinicius were decimating them. Vinicius decimated them so many times, made overlaps, got through the defense, was literally man to man with this guy, the keeper, Donnarumma. But
Donnarumma,
he
yeah.
couldn't convert two chances. He had two chances. He couldn't
Uh,
convert them. I think Madrid would have actually taken them out by 5, 6 goals easily, looking at how they performed in the second half.
yep,
So,
yep, yep. Yeah,
but
I
yeah, I
mean,
think
yeah,
personally,
I sincerely think that this all this transfer business needs to be looked at
yeah,
in at PSG, because I feel like there's a there's a sense of like building this dynasty where
yeah,
I have this bunch of good players, a bunch of superstars into the league, into the team, and nothing is clicking, or you just need a player, or you just need a coach, maybe like Pep Guardiola or someone like let's just compare Pep Guardiola and Klopp. Like if
yeah,
they if at this moment they had a Pep or a Klopp, I think they easily win through against Madrid. I think they
but,
easily do that. I would have
but,
said it, even though I'm a Madrid fan, I would have said it like, no, yes, maybe it's not clicking or whatever, but at this moment of time, if Klopp was there, if Guardiola was there, he would have figured it out in the 14 months that he had been with the club. He would have figured it out how to play all these players together, what needs to happen. But
hmm,
even in the Ligue 1, like you don't see a cohesion against in PSG, right? There is nothing like when you talk about having PSG against Nantes or Lens, these smaller teams, even though Lens is like actually doing pretty well this Ligue 1 season,
yeah,
um, but these teams, right? What's this new team that got promoted? Trua,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
In Ligue 1. Then what about them? Like they're not still
true,
able to defeat them. I need to see that they can defeat teams and actually roll over them. Show it to me that you can score 5 goals within the first 50 minutes. Show it to me.
right,
But they're not able to. They've most of their games, at least 25% of the games they have played this season, they've won in the last minutes. They've won literally in the last minutes. Even like when Messi was there, like when Messi
yeah,
was playing. So there is a sense there you I can't say here that that PSG have been playing well, at least in Ligue 1. There is no system in that play. I've been watching. That's the reason I wanted to watch Ligue 1 this season, because I want to see like how this manager, how these players fit into this role, because I want to see how they are going to affect the Champions League, how they are going to impact, how they're going to affect teams in the Champions League. Because I myself, like when they signed Messi, I was like, yeah, this is a no-brainer, but they are going to be in the Champions League final. I don't think anybody can defeat them because of Messi. Like Messi is just a
yeah,
world-class player, right? More
yeah,
than like he's more than a world-class player. But I haven't seen anything from anyone in that team except Mbappe. There is no one in that team that you can sit here and say that has been playing well throughout the season. No one.
yeah.
Ramos keeps getting injured or gets sent off. Donnarumma and what's that other keeper?
Keylor Navas,
Keylor Navas. They keep having shifts in between. Man,
yeah,
you are the manager of the team. Decide on one keeper who's going to play. Who is your number one keeper for the season? You can't keep shifting and make sure that everyone's happy on the team. You can't. Your job is literally that, to make sure what's your final 11. That's when you have to make sure that you have to field that best 11 in these competitions. He hasn't been
agreed,
able to.
yeah,
Donnarumma and Navas keep on switching, players. I get that you have like cup competitions and cup squads. You have league squads, and then you have like Champions League and all that squads, right? Like where your best 11 plays in every game. But he hasn't been able to do anything. I'm
true,
sorry, I'm not like trying to rant about Pochettino,
Hmm.
but I just feel like there's a
But
lot of questions now
yeah,
at Pochettino, because what he did against, even again, if you look back at last seasons against City, they were able to dominate the game. They were able to do whatever they needed to in the first 45-60 minutes, and then once City put back the pressure on them, they basically collapsed, right? So they couldn't
yeah.
really answer. So that we have to point some pressure, or you have to point some blame on Pochettino as well. I just
True.
think
Yeah,
that.
I agree. I agree. He has to take some onus for the faulting that has been committed. But also, I also believe in this, man. Like, I might be, again, the footballing world, fan world, will definitely agree with you on this, 90% of them. But I am one of those people in the 10% who've been watching football since a long time. And my belief is that one of the greatest managers in the sport, barring Pep and Klopp, have also committed so many faults. Ancelotti himself, in the past 10 years, his track record with Everton, with different teams, has been a little here and there, right?
Yep.
He's definitely a veteran of the sport, knowing that yeah, he's won Champions League with Real Madrid before as well. Even Jose Mourinho has. But since look at Jose Mourinho, he's making Roma. I mean, he's playing with Roma, right? He's managing Roma,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
they're
yeah.
fifth in the league right now. So it's just
Yep.
these. I still don't agree with that, to be honest. I would never sack Pochettino. I would give him one more season at least. Give him another season. I'm sure he'll nick in a trophy or two from there. Not necessarily the Champions League, but at least the League Cup and the league. And when it comes to relegated teams bouncing back into the top league, there is something which must be there in the teams, right? Leeds United came into the Premier League. Burnley also came into the Premier League 8 9 years ago. There must be something, some X factor, which is why I think PSG got defeated, right? There must be something. We know those players are reeking of starredness and all that. They have a lot of quality, but they lost to that team because of some reason altogether, right? They played bad on the day. Similarly, I think Carlo Ancelotti managed a Real Madrid who was struggling in the first 60 minutes. You saw it. Carlo Ancelotti's Real Madrid was struggling. It was Benzema who actually scored those goals, right? So it came to down to one individual who actually took the team out of the rut and he made them champions and look like champions again. And I full credit to the entire Real Madrid team. They played well in the last 30 35 minutes. But again, if you see Carlo Ancelotti's tactics majorly, they didn't really work in the most of the around 120, 140 minutes
Yeah.
were all in PSG's favor. So, we
Mm.
can give this counter argument as well. And I think if they're riding this tide, maybe if they face teams like City, Liverpool also, you never know. Liverpool might show up on that day. Liverpool have had a very bad track record against Real. I think if Liverpool match up with Real, they have a possibility of shining out loud against Real. What happened during that season when Karius was being blamed for that? He had a concussion. It was all the goalkeeper's fault as well. Liverpool
Mm.
rode the downright because of that, right? Bale threw an overhead. Ronaldo as well, I think he scored a goal. But Sadio Mane and Salah were playing really well in the first 45 minutes as well in that fixture. So I think when it comes down to the managers, this job is very, very difficult. And I think there is a reason why Pochettino is regarded something in the world, right? So I think letting him go off, and what do you think? He'll join another club and then he has to win something at some point of time, right? His tactics are about attacking football.
I'm not going to answer that question.
I know we differ there, but even Bielsa for that matter, when he entered
Yeah.
the league with Leeds, we were all involved, like, wow, Leeds is winning, 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 and then he was sacked. So it, the managerial tactics are always on point. It has to come from all departments: the management, the top management, the bottom staff, and even the players. There are
Yep.
11 players on the field; they need to support the manager as well. So again,
I
there
I
might be
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, again, like we can talk about PSG versus Madrid on another, like, in for another 30 minutes. There's so much talking points. Obviously, that's what
yeah,
like a good game like this does. I enjoyed the game. I'm just having
same,
doubts over, I'm just having doubts over PSG now, to be honest,
true,
and Pochettino itself. Because and what you're saying about Pochettino, I used to say that about even just before this, because I knew that Madrid was gonna win the leg, but I still felt like, Pochettino's a good manager.
hmm.
He's a good manager still. I
Yep,
just feel maybe what he's saying is right. Like, maybe I just, for one moment, I just throw out all the things that I just said and I believe him. That
yep,
maybe it's actually not working out for him because he's just not liking the city, he's just not liking the atmosphere. Maybe the club that he's in, all this power that comes from up top, like maybe he's not liking it, maybe he needs some freedom. And I
yep,
don't know, like, how PSG's board works. I don't know. I can't really answer that even. Maybe it is that, Nasir Al Khalifa, or whatever his name is, he's uh, he's he's the main manager, he's the main person who takes all these decisions. So Pochettino is not even involved. Like, hey, you shut up. I don't care what you say. I'm going to bring in Messi even if you don't need him. You need to, sorry, you need to make sure that you figure out how to play him,
yep,
right? So there's like tons of questions, tons of things that we can talk about, but let's move forward. Let's move forward.
yep,
Great game overall. I think all of us enjoyed the game, Madrid versus PSG. Hopefully Madrid has another good fixture in the quarterfinal, even though I think most of the teams now left will be will be a good one, will be the tougher one. So yeah.
yep,
But yeah, let's talk about Liverpool versus Inter. I think another good game, another very very gritty, tough game that Liverpool had to play in. We never thought that Liverpool will actually lose. I predicted a 2-all draw, and I told you that it might be like Liverpool will go through, but I just felt like Inter were gonna come back a little bit stronger and actually give them a fight, which they did. I think Liverpool, to be honest, had some really good chances in the first half itself, and they could have actually gone, a goal or two ahead. Salah hit the post twice in the game. I think one in the latter stages where he could have actually finished the game, saying that we can't lose from here. And I think one of the other posts that he had hit was in the first half itself. So
Yep.
Mane's performance, I did not really like it. I think he was really off on the game in the game. I think first half he really had some chances. Second half he was barely visible. I don't see. Luis Diaz, I think we've talked about him. I think he was good. He could have actually had a. I think he's not scored yet, right, for Liverpool, or he has in the
He scored
Carabao
a
Cup
Premier League goal.
in the Premier League. Okay,
Yep.
so yeah, I mean, Luis Diaz could have actually scored his first Champions League as well. I think great block from Arturo Vidal
Yeah. Yeah.
in the latter part, basically in the injury time of the game. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, man, Inter showed up big time. They were tough. I think definitely the red card obviously played in Liverpool's hands, because I think they literally scored and they got a red card in the first half, literally moments after. I, for one, don't believe that should have been a red card. I know were talking about it offline, but
It was a red
yeah,
card.
what were your thoughts like overall of the game?
I'll tell you my thoughts.
Uh-huh.
Firstly, I think people have been exaggerating with the fact that Liverpool didn't deserve to win that. It's the opposite. Liverpool did deserve to win it. Their XG says so. The chances that they created were ample. Three chances hit the post. One chance was saved when Luis Diaz took it in the end. Mane also tried his best. Van Dijk's header, Matip's header. They had plenty of chances and they were in the box. It's just a game where they couldn't finish their chances. And it has happened to
Hmm.
many teams, right? And they're already scored 2 goals in the first leg, so I think they're already completed their task in a way, knowing that okay, Inter weren't really taking their chances. How many shots did they have? Inter had shots, right? And they had 5 shots, out of which only one shot went inside. And those 5 shots, out of those 5 shots, 4 shots were literally like they weren't really threatening at all, not even a bit. So they did a good job in the midfield. They did a good job only in the midfield. And in the attack as well, I think Lautaro Martinez was trying to overlap and all that stuff. But he wasn't really successful, was he? Liverpool were totally, they had a higher team tilt. They were entering the final third back to back. Diego Jota, Sadio Mane had an off game. Diego Jota had a very off game, I agree. But at least we had people, we had Trent giving in. I don't know if you know that, if you've checked out the statistics, Trent crosses, interceptions, defensively, offensively, he was spot on. He had
Yep.
given many opportunities to Liverpool to score, but they couldn't. So this is one of those games where I could actually say this, that if you have one game where you could actually afford to lose, Liverpool took advantage of that and they lost that game. So I understand that Inter gave a good fight, but doesn't mean that Liverpool didn't play well. So it's the same thing. When I talk about Liverpool dominating games, they did dominate it, and I think when it came down to the Sanchez red card, man, I think he overrode that tackle and it hit Fabinho. I think that was the melting point for the referee, because we know referees are very strict when it comes to the Champions League. Maybe in the Premier League he might have not gotten a red card, I agree, but if you look at the level of the competition, European competitions and other nations apart from England, they always are pretty strict with the refereeing. Same has been validated by David Silva, Andreas Iniesta, so many other legends of the game. So I think, uh, again, hard luck. Liverpool couldn't score a single goal, but they deserve to win that match as well.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you. I think Liverpool I can't say that Liverpool didn't deserve to win the game. I think they had a good number of chances, but again, like, it's just what we said literally moments ago. Like, there's a on another day Liverpool could have lost. Like,
Yeah,
red card
yeah,
could not have been there. That maybe they could have actually scored a second goal, because
maybe.
it just wasn't going in for Liverpool, right? But eventually they managed to go through, and that's the beauty of
Yeah,
this two-legged tie, right? Like, one day you have a good game, one day you don't, but you still manage to go through, right? So
yeah,
and that's what we love about Champions League and these two-legged ties. It always has that balance. Even after the first game, people have come back from, like, 4-0 deficits, 5-0
yeah,
deficits, 4-0 deficits, not 5-0, I guess.
yeah,
But they have come back, right? So and that was one of the games that actually PSG lost against Barcelona. So yeah, here we are back to PSG, ranting about PSG again. So but yeah. So I think Liverpool definitely deserve to win the game. They
yeah,
didn't. But I think Inter, on the other hand, themselves had a really great chance to actually equalize and actually take the game to
True.
Liverpool, which they did. And I really liked the performances from Sanchez, and I think I liked that. I liked that Inzaghi actually played Sanchez and Martinez because of the
Yeah.
pace that they needed, like to hit them on the counter. I think Dzeko could not have been there,
True.
but I think again, like you needed Dzeko because of his finishing prowess. If
Yeah.
he would have been there, I think he would have actually given you. I think he could have actually given you a goal at least, very needed, right? But I think Inter's, if you look at like Inter's play style, what they actually came in to do, I think it was all about like hitting at them on the counter because they have the players to go back on the counter, and that's why I think Sanchez and Martinez, definitely started the game.
I think the reason why Dzeko wasn't started was because he was given the first leg the opportunity to start the game, and he missed a lot of opportunities in the first leg as
Yeah,
well. So I think that's the reason why they put on Sanchez instead of Dzeko.
yeah,
But yeah, I think Lautaro Martinez did try intercepting Liverpool many times, but he was unsuccessful. I think
yeah,
yeah, I think a good day for Liverpool, to be honest. We went through. And Inter, though, I am all plaudits for them because the way Inzaghi has managed Inter, he's turned them into, again, a high-end attacking team. They love playing high up the pitch now in the opposition's field. I think under Conte as well, they were thriving a lot, but it was more on transition football. It was more on counter-attacking football. So I think, yeah, kudos to them. They might win the Serie A this time, and they are one of the toughest teams in the world at the moment. Inter Milan, definitely. Looking
yep,
at
yep,
how the midfield is, Bastoni in the defense. They've got good fullbacks as well who are sizing up the field up and down. And the
yep.
midfield would also, I think Brozovic was the main handler of the entire squad, the main engine, and he played a good game too. Brozovic had a brilliant game in
Yeah,
terms of interception.
Brozovic, even the fullbacks, Dumfries, and I think who's the other one? I
And
think
Dumfries had a good game too. Yeah,
yeah, Dumfries had a good game. So yeah,
but he was removed. He
yeah,
was kicked out. He was removed at
he,
the 60th minute,
yeah,
65th
yep,
minute.
yep,
Yeah.
yep, 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 yep. Yeah. But I think yeah, let's see who Liverpool get, and I'm actually hoping for a Liverpool versus Bayern. I really want to see that game, and I don't want to see that in a final. I want to see a two-legged affair between Liverpool and Bayern Munich. I
We
think
we
that can
we did knock
that
them out a few years back.
huh?
We knocked out Bayern Munich, I think 4 seasons back when Salah and Mane were new to the team.
Oh, I know, but Bayern Munich were at that time, or they were in like in a run. I think it
No,
was
no, no. They had an amazing team. They had Arjun
no.
Robin. Yeah,
They had a good team, but their manager was Niko Kovac, and they were sacked after
but
that. Remember,
no, they
it
had
was
and they were the favorites in the competition, my friend. They were
nope,
the favorites. Yeah,
no,
I'll tell you this
no.
today. I'll tell you
They
this.
were not. They were not.
Yeah,
They're
I'll tell you.
actually having a very bad season at that time because Niko Kovac actually got sacked right after that. So because they got like you guys humiliated him. I
But
think
but
that was the
here's the
season
lineup.
where
But here's the lineup. Okay, Lewandowski, Ribery, Gnabry, Javi Martinez, who's retired now. Thiago Alcantara played that game. David Alaba, Matt Hummels.
yeah.
Sule played the game. Rafinha
I'm
played the
not
game.
I'm not complaining about the team. I'm just
But
saying
it's
that the team wasn't playing well under
no,
Niko
I'm just
Kovac. That's what
giving
I'm
those
saying.
players. I mean,
Yeah.
winning against Bayern Munich is a big
You
thing.
you you can come back after 6 years and tell me what United's team was in the team sheet, but we all know how shit United are at the moment, right? It's the same thing.
Well, let's
So
not talk about teams punching below their weight. I think United are definitely a star-studded team, but they're going the other way around. I think looking at the
exactly what was happening to Bayern Munich. So
but I still think looking at the current conditions, I don't want to talk about Man United. I know it's for another day, but
yeah,
I don't even think you guys will win against Atletico. That's just my personal opinion. There's a United fan sitting outside as well. He's watching the television.
what are you talking about? You're talking to a United fan.
I know. So I have two United fans who have surrounded me, but I don't know. I think Atletico will show up because Atletico have always shown up when it comes to defensive performances, right? I think
You want and I know like you as you said like this is not the platform right now to talk about United, but
yeah,
literally the game after they played against United, they've won 3 games in a row,
yep,
which they haven't throughout the season. They haven't done that.
yep,
So that's what United did to Atletico. So yeah, I mean I'm not expecting myself to win them against them. Like basically now I sit down on the couch and feel like okay, I'm just gonna watch the game and see how they respond. That's all I'm looking at. I know that they're going to lose. I knew they were going to lose against City, and I was just sitting to see like how they actually react to the game, right? So
yeah.
that's all I was That's all I'm hoping for through to the rest of the season. I know we're going. All these players are probably even going to leave. Maybe they leave.
Yep.
Varane, Ronaldo, all these players are going to leave because nobody would like to play in the Conference League, right?
Yep.
That's where I think we'll end up at the end of the season. The way the season's going, and this March Madness will actually tell you how big of a rut we are in. But yeah, let's not talk about United and let's not ruin my mood.
Yep.
You know, let's talk about Bayern Munich. I
Yep.
think for almost the entirety of February, almost every person that I've spoken to, they have been like, Bayern have lost it. I don't think Bayern are no longer the favorites in the Champions League. No longer. I think they might bottle the Bundesliga as well. Yeah, I heard that. I heard that from one person. I mean, there's no reason they're going to bottle. There's no way that they're going to bottle the Bundesliga. I think they still have a lot of gap between them and Dortmund, who are the
Yep.
next best team in Bundesliga at the moment. Uh, but my only counter was there have been players missing. Once their players are back, and it wasn't like their players were having season ending injuries. They were just out for that particular month, and now that you're seeing the players are getting back. Martinez was what's his name? Goretzka was back. Neuer was back. Alfonso Davies is also going to be back
Yep.
at some point of time before the quarterfinal stages. So they will get their player back, and that's why I was telling you, like, I want to see a competition between Liverpool and Bayern, because it's literally best 11 versus best 11.
Yep.
Neither does Liverpool have a good squad depth. Neither does Bayern Munich. Right? They I don't believe that they have a really good squad depth. Their playing
True.
11 is to like an absolute, that they have like an absolute best 11. If you compare best like a Liverpool versus Bayern top 11, I think it's very hard to compare who actually goes in actually what position, because all of them are so good at their respective positions.
Yep.
um but I think and I think they basically showed Salzburg, even though Bayern and Salzburg had a good couple of chances in the first 10 minutes or so. But then after that, after Lewandowski got that first penalty, after Bayern actually ended up ahead in the game, it was just a riot from there. I think they scored 30. They scored 4 goals in the first 30 minutes itself. So the tie was basically over. We all knew that. But even after that, they showed their class. Like what Bayern Munich is what they showed against Salzburg.
True. I think Salzburg, again, a team who actually, I think they gave a good fight in the first leg, but I don't know what happened in the second leg at all. I think they were decimated purely by their lethal attack. I think Sane played a brilliant game.
Yeah.
Again, Lewandowski was amazing with penalties, with the goal that he scored. Overall, I think even the inclusion of Gnabry and other wingers, I think it was amazing how they were working in good coordination throughout the game, and they looked like they could score more actually. But yeah, I think towards the end of the match, that hype subsided for a while, and the tempo they were building the build-ups with was amazing. I specifically liked how the defenders were also included in the attack. So I mean, it was a high day for them, and yeah, they made a mark again with I think, but they relatively had an easier opponent if we actually talk about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Salzburg is not as competitive as Inter Milan. Salzburg is not as competitive as PSG. So I think yeah, they had a relatively easier opponent, and I think Bayern Munich. We need to see now if Bayern Munich come down to playing with Real Madrid, with Liverpool. Who do they come down to? I think Liverpool are always very unlucky in the quarters because they get to face a very competitive team. And I think if Liverpool cross the quarters, I have a feeling they will give a very stiff competition in the finale. I think semis is always easy for Liverpool. Looking at the record, if we cross
Hmm.
the quarters, then I think we ride the tide very easily to reach to the finals. So I hope we've already won one trophy this season, the Carabao Cup. We are about to win the FA Cup as well, hopefully. But yeah, I hope for the best. I think I won't dream about the quadruple, but I am pretty content with having either the Premier League or the Champions League to our name. So yeah, I think Klopp has outclassed everyone. And to be honest, with a very narrow squad line, he's doing this. Imagine if Klopp had a team like Manchester City, what would he be doing? So,
Yeah. I mean, there is. I think Klopp is definitely one of the greatest managers. When
yeah,
he retires, I think he should be termed one of the greatest man, because I think what he's just done with Liverpool, I think that's commendable, right? Because I mean, if you look at his entire career, he's never been in a like a team who spends big, right? It was
True.
Dortmund where he has, and he had actually he outlasted Bayern Munich for 2 seasons where he won the Bundesliga, right? And then
Yep.
I think one season, the next season, I think he took them to the Champions League final
Yep.
as well, right? And with Liverpool, we all know what he's done. Like, obviously, it took him time to build his team at about 2 to 3 seasons,
Yep.
but then eventually he's starting to deliver now, right? Like, we all know
True.
like what Klopp is all about. Yeah, but sorry, but talking about like Bayern Munich as well, like what do you think like are their hopes in the Champions League? Do you think that they have it, to go all the way to winning the Champions League, or you feel like, yeah, it's not really possible at this season? Maybe another couple of additions that they need.
Look, we all know what they did the season before,
Hmm.
and even last season. I think the 8-2 demolishing of Barcelona, right?
Yeah.
So I think they are capable of scoring high, making a high score line. But we've also known that Bayern Munich have struggled in majority of the matches that they've played in the Bundesliga as well. Not majority, some of the matches like Leverkusen last week in itself, they drew the match. So I think,
Yeah, but that was because of the squad. That's what I was mentioning. Like, they didn't have their main players in that team, so that's why it kind of like
but
was a struggling affair. And to be frank, like Leverkusen is a really good team this Bundesliga season. They're third in the league, so it's not
so
like they're just pushovers in the league. So
I
yeah,
agree with
just
you
just
that
mentioning that. Yeah.
they didn't start the same players, but they started Lewandowski, Muller, Kingsley Coman, Gnabry, Kimmich, Pavard. All the players who played in the starting 11 for the Champions League were mostly there. So I mean,
Yep.
they should have won that game as well. That's no, um, that's no way of at least writing them off in a way. But yeah, Leverkusen scored off an own goal of Muller. So I
Hmm.
mean, even that is something that we should be looking into, right? So they are capable of making mistakes, and I think we shouldn't. I would definitely rate them very high. But looking at what is going on with each and every club, don't you think Liverpool deserve a little credit for they've only lost 2 games in the league? They are the only club who have lost only 2 leagues in their league games out of all the clubs who are coming up with the competition. So yeah, I think looking at if we start looking at those matches like that, I think on the day they performed well against Inter too, but they lost the match. So like that, they might just lose the quarterfinals as well. So you never know who's going to win, who's going to lose, because it depends on the day how the team turns up.
Oh, of course,
That's,
of course.
yeah. So
Completely agree with that. Yeah. Like, yeah,
so
because I
I
mean,
think
it's all about the day, right?
yeah,
Obviously there are favorites, there are non-favorites, but then you can have a Pep Guardiola in your team who overthinks every time there's a big game, and he'll just think like, oh, you know what, we don't need a central defensive midfielder. Who plays a central defensive midfielder in the Champions League final? No, we're gonna play without them, and that's the reason you concede a goal and actually
yeah,
lose the Champions League. So yeah, I mean, all jokes aside, but I do think Liverpool have a good chance, and winning a trophy in the middle of the season, just having one trophy, that you have a trophy in your hand, it just gives you, some belief that you can actually go and actually challenge for the Premier League title, which they are. They're challenging for the FA Cup, which I think they're in the quarterfinals, quarterfinals of the Champions League. So they're basically everywhere right now. They're on all fronts, like City were at the end of the season, last season, right? But then eventually, obviously, City had to prioritize, and I guess Liverpool will too. I think FA Cup is something that they will be like, okay, it doesn't really matter right now. I think Premier League and Champions League, if they can do a Premier League, Champions League, and Carabao Cup, I think a treble.
yeah,
I think that would be a real good statement on Manchester City itself. Like, when we knew, I think we called it like in January that the Premier League is over. The kind of squad that the City has, with the squad that Liverpool has, I think it's commendable. Like, if Klopp would be able to achieve that with Liverpool, I
yeah.
don't believe it, but they can. I don't believe it. They will. I think it's either Premier League or Champions League, either or. Like, I don't think everything is possible at the end of the season.
What if they do though? What if Jurgen Klopp wins all the 3 trophies? I mean, all the 3 pending trophies because they've already won
They can, of
one,
course,
right?
they can, but I don't think that's
Yeah,
gonna happen.
right, right. I don't
Yeah,
think that's gonna happen, but if
yeah,
they do, I think the critics are going to go down the floor and they might just get out of the world. You never know
yeah,
what will happen.
yeah. I mean, if he wins a quadruple with Liverpool with this squad, I think he I in my world he will become one of, like, he will, I think he will surpass Guardiola for me, just
Yeah,
because
I
of
think
the
I think this
just because of what he's done
yeah,
with very less money. He's not
true.
spent 1 billion pounds,
Yeah,
to be frank. Like, fine, hate me, City haters or City people, I don't care, but yeah, that is the truth, right? That
true,
is the truth,
true,
that he's
true,
not spent as much money as Pep Guardiola has in the last 10 years. He has not.
true.
So he's recruited well. That's what he's done. And he's built players. He's made players into, look at Curtis Jones. What a performance he had, man, against
True.
Inter Milan.
Yeah.
So, like, he was nowhere. He's an academy player of you guys, right? So,
Yeah, yeah.
like, yeah, so I can't, like, you can't,
Even
like,
Trent's an academy player, so yeah, I look at
yeah,
him one of the best fullbacks in the world right now.
you can't just, look over that fact, that when players, when managers do these kind of things, and they take them to these heights, right? Okay, let's close
Yeah,
out with Man City. Obviously, we don't have a lot to talk about because nothing really happened in that
it was
game.
a goalless match.
Yeah, and obviously it was a dead rubber. We all knew City were anyways going through, but I think City overall could have actually scored at least a couple of goals.
Yeah,
And talking about Sporting Lisbon as well, I think a couple of good chances from Lisbon side as well. They could have actually scored at least a
right.
goal. It was the second string side from Liverpool, from Manchester City. Even though, up top they were playing their main players, and and in goal I think it was Carlson who was playing. So it wasn't like the full strong side that City were playing. I think eventually
Yeah,
I think Guardiola did get their main, get his main players, just because he wanted to win. He didn't want a draw. He didn't want that, that City actually drew the game in the middle. He just wants that streak to go in all competitions. So, but yeah, I think for me, I think it's the same question that we always say. City's hopes are obviously on the Champions League. They need to win it to make sure that this big club, that Pep Guardiola and the City founders are trying to build, it all starts with winning the Champions League. Uh, they've been trying for a better part of 5 years since Pep Guardiola has come in, but it's not happened yet. Um, they're definitely getting closer. They're building the team. They have the team to go all out. I just feel still they're not there yet, just because they don't have a recognized striker.
yeah.
I don't want to talk about the same thing again and again in every podcast, but I think that's one of the reasons that they won't win the Champions League.
Right, I think I agree with you on that each and every point. I think again he played a second string team, but they still had the main players were playing in. But I still believe that yeah, I think City should have scored something out of the goal, out of the game. They couldn't do it. I think Sporting Lisbon did give a good fight in terms of defending and in terms of trying to win the balls back. Their retrieval rate was decently fair in comparison to other league teams if you've seen in the Premier League. I think Sporting Lisbon, yeah, could have been compared to one of the Newcastle the way they've been playing. I think we can compare them to them. But yeah, I think all in all, it came down to even City's fitness. To be honest, this was a midweek European game, and it's tough sometimes to show up in each and every game. Just like this happened to Liverpool, I think it happened to City as well. So yeah, I think tough week for Liverpool and City. But yeah, they've commenced through and they've gone to the quarterfinals. And these are the two confirmed Premier League clubs that have gone, and they are the two clubs who are riding the tide high on the first and second position in the league as well. So I think yeah, it's a good. I think the good teams are getting to get ahead, and excited that Bayern, Real, Liverpool, and City, one of the toughest teams, are the first four clubs to get into the four berths of the quarterfinals. And I'm waiting to see the rest of the four teams will be coming up, and I think we have the we've got the quarterfinal. We've got the
Thank you.
round
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
of
I know what you were going to say. That's why I laughed.
no, 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 no. I was talking about the draw. The quarterfinal draw will be happening on Friday. I think that will be
Next
after
Friday.
the United game.
Yeah.
So we are yet to see who's going to progress ahead.
It can happen about any other game. You can say about any other game
No,
that's happening.
I'm not writing
So,
United off. I actually think you guys have
and
better.
by the way, United's game was on Tuesday. So the last game is on Wednesday, which is I
True,
think
true,
which is the
true.
other one. So it
Chelsea
will not
and
happen. It will not
LOSC.
happen after.
Lil.
Yeah, it will not
Yeah,
happen.
yeah.
It will not happen after United. It will happen
True,
after
true,
Chelsea's
true, true.
game. But yeah, all jokes aside, man. Like, it's all I can't hide away from the fact that United have been so poor this season. So
Yeah,
yeah, all the blame, all the rant, or all the uh, you know all the things that can come to me. So that's I'm
Yeah.
I'm all in for. Like I'm going into podcast and ranting about United, and I don't like it, but I still have to because they're not playing well.
Yeah.
Thank you there. I think that we'll leave it at that. But I think great discussion I had with you on the Champions League roundup. I think I hope sincerely hope this is what the same amount of intensity actually goes into the next round. Sorry, the next legs, which are going to happen next week.
Yep.
Atletico versus Manchester United is another big tie on Tuesday next week. That is evenly poised. Juventus versus Villarreal. I'm not really hoping for anything other than a good decent Juventus win. I'm predicting a 3-0 victory. Anyhow, we are going to preview it on our channel, but I'm just giving
Yep.
away some of the predictions now. I think Chelsea Lille is already over. We don't really. I don't think there's any hope for Lille in that game.
Yep.
So yeah, we'll leave it at that. There's some good Europa League fixtures coming in tomorrow as well. I think Barcelona versus Galatasaray is a good fixture to look out for. Sevilla versus West Ham is also a good fixture, as well. And I'm actually looking forward to Atalanta versus Leverkusen. I've been really a big fan of Leverkusen for the past few seasons, and I think finally they've actually developed into a really good team. Florian Wirtz has been playing really really brilliantly in their team. So looking forward to some of the games in the Europa League tomorrow.
Yep.
But yeah, we'll see you very very soon. On our channel. But please make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to the Late Winner Show.
Yep.
And give us a follow on Instagram and Twitter for loads of content that we put out related to football. But yeah, anyways, thanks, Uday, again. Any last thoughts?
No, man, no last thoughts. I think looking forward to the fixtures which are happening next week. And Europa, I'll watch a game or two. Let's see what happens tomorrow. I think that'll be pretty exciting as well. But rest I'm actually waiting for the Premier League to commence again because I am more worried about the league than the Champions League at the moment. I think quarterfinals will happen after some time now. So I'm pretty much content with what we have gotten out of that.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Looking forward to and having you on my channel another time as well. So
Yep.
yeah, we'll
Cool.
say you.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna see you. I'm gonna see you soon.
Yeah. We'll see you. We'll see you guys very very soon. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks. Good night.
Good night.